When it comes to video games, what does cozy even mean? Is it the art style, the music, the lack of combat? Honestly, I don't think it's any of that.
Nope.
Cozy isn't a genre, it's a feeling.
I looked it up in the dictionary. It's not in there.
And it looks different depending on who's holding the Steam Deck. And when all I can feel is chapped lips and dry hands, the kind of game I want to play is something that makes me feel fuzzy inside. So,
it's really cozy game. It's just right to try here.
So somewhere along the way, cozy stopped meaning how something feels and kind of just became shorthand for flannels, warm colors, and a seasonal latte at Starbucks.
Girl, I'm stressed, but blessed. And pumpkin spice obsessed.
When I say cozy, I'm talking about games that lower your shoulders a little bit. And I've got 20 games for you butts today, and they're the kind of games that make you want to get comfortable. Maybe too comfortable.
A few moments later.
I've split this list into 4 groups. Thoughtful, wandery, emotional, and comfortably repetitive. Before we get too far, no, Stardew is not on this list. Let's start with the quiet ones. Some cozy games don't relax you by switching your brain off. They do it by giving your attention somewhere calm to land. Return of the Obra Dinn drops you into a mystery with almost no guidance, asking you to uncover what happened aboard an abandoned ship through observation and deduction. You're rewinding moments in time, piecing together who everyone was and how they died by noticing details and making connections. There's no combat and no traditional progression, just the slow satisfaction of ideas clicking into place. It's methodical in a really rewarding way, and once you're in it, thinking becomes the entire experience. Just be sure you've got a pen and a notepad nearby because you are going to need it. Pentiment is a narrative-driven game far more interested in conversation than combat, set in a small 16th century town where every interaction feels grounded and personal. You spend most of your time talking to people, learning their histories, and choosing how to respond, often without knowing exactly how those choices will ripple outward. The pacing is deliberate, giving you space to think before you speak, and the weight of each decision comes from how human it all feels rather than any mechanical consequence. It's quiet, thoughtful, and deeply immersive if you let it be. I played this game a couple of years ago on Xbox Game Pass, and I was really captured by the storytelling and the artwork. The Seance of Lake Manor is a tightly focused mystery set inside a secluded manor where you piece together what happened by exploring rooms, observing details, and questioning the guests in attendance. Each conversation and discovery adds context, slowly revealing relationships, secrets, and motives beneath the surface. The structure encourages careful observation and deduction rather than brute force investigation. Every action does take time though, which means you have to be intentional about what you follow up on and what you let go. The result is a mystery that feels thoughtful and measured, trusting you to connect the dots without ever feeling rushed. Blueprints is a puzzle-driven mystery built around exploration where the rules of the space slowly reveal themselves the more time you spend inside it. You're navigating an ever-changing mansion in search of a single hidden room, learning how it behaves through patience and curiosity rather than explicit instruction. The game doesn't expect you to solve everything right away, and a lot of the enjoyment comes from letting ideas sit and connect over time. It rewards attention more than cleverness, and it's at its best when you stop trying to force answers and let them arrive naturally. That pen and notepad that you used for Obra Dinn earlier, make sure that you save a few pages for this as well. Gorogoa is a hand-drawn puzzle game built around manipulating illustrated panels until they align in just the right way. The panels are clever without being aggressive, encouraging experimentation instead of punishment. You spend most of your time sliding, layering, and rearranging images, slowly discovering how they interact with one another. Solutions often feel obvious only after you find them, which makes each breakthrough especially satisfying. Now, one thing I've really come to appreciate about the Steam Deck is how often I end up using it away from home, which means that I'm constantly connecting to hotel Wi-Fi, airport Wi-Fi, coffee shop Wi-Fi. You get the idea. Which actually brings me to today's sponsor, Surfshark. Surfshark is the VPN I run in the background on my computer, my phone, and even my Steam Deck when I'm in desktop mode, especially when I'm traveling. One thing I genuinely love is that it blocks ads and cookie pop-ups, which might sound small, but once you stop clicking accept all 50 times a day, it's really hard to go back. Because it's a VPN, it also lets you change your virtual location, which is useful when you travel a lot. Not just for checking game deals during sales, but even comparing things like flight prices before you book. Dude, did you know you could do that? I didn't know you could do that. You can totally do that. I'm gonna do that. You should do that. I will. I don't use it to be clever. I use it to double check and make sure that I'm not overpaying for things when I don't have to. And that kind of stuff adds up when you're bouncing between trips, which honestly just saves me more money for games. And if you're ever shopping for games on unfamiliar sites, Surfshark includes antivirus protection too, which is just a nice extra layer of peace of mind. If you want to check it out, go to surfshark.com/Poladroid or use the code Poladroid at checkout to get an extra 4 months added to your Surfshark plan. There's also a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can try it risk-free. That's a win-win. Thanks so much to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to the games. Now these are games about movement without urgency. Exploration that isn't about getting somewhere fast, just seeing what's around the corner. Short Hike gives you a clear goal. Reach the top of the mountain, and then immediately makes it feel unimportant because everything along the way is more interesting. You end up climbing cliffs, gliding between ledges, fishing, and talking to people, mostly because something caught your eye, not because the game told you to go there. It's open in a way that feels gentle rather than overwhelming, and every detour feels intentional instead of like time wasted. By the time you reach the top, it almost feels beside the point. The wandering is what sticks with you. Almost makes me feel like going on a hike myself.
How neat is that?
Sable drops you into a massive desert with a hoverbike and very little urgency, then trusts you to decide what matters. You ride between ruins, climb ancient structures, and meet masked travelers, slowly piecing together who you are. There's no combat pushing you forward, just curiosity quietly pulling you along. It's the kind of game where you stop moving often, and not because you're stuck, but because you like where you ended up. Jusant is built entirely around climbing, but it approaches it in a way that feels deliberate rather than demanding. Every move asks you to think about stamina, grip, and momentum, so you're constantly reading the wall instead of reacting to it. Once you settle into the rhythm, the act of climbing becomes almost meditative. As you move upward, the shifting colors of the environment and the understated music quietly reinforce that sense of focus without ever pulling your attention away. There's also some really subtle world building that you'll discover through letters that you find around the environment. I found this one really cool. Toem, if that's how you pronounce it, is my kind of game. It's about walking through small towns with a camera and realizing the solution is usually right in front of you. You just weren't looking closely enough. Each request asks you to frame a moment, notice a detail, or reposition yourself until something clicks, which naturally slows you down without forcing it. The puzzles are specific and thoughtful, but the game is incredibly patient with how you solve them. It rewards curiosity and observation, not efficiency. It's also incredibly charming. Wanderstop takes place almost entirely in one location, a tea shop, and asks you to stay there longer than feels productive. You brew tea, tend plants, and talk to travelers who come and go, often circling the same ideas instead of pushing the story forward. Progress is intentionally slow, and that friction is part of the point. The game only really opens up once you stop trying to move past it and let the routines settle in. Some cozy games tend to stay with you because of the people and stories inside them. These are the ones that tend to linger just a little bit longer. Spiritfarer is a management and exploration game about helping spirits move on, wrapped in routines that feel gentle and comforting. You're sailing, cooking, farming, and building relationships with the passengers on your boat, most of whom you'll grow genuinely attached to over time. For a while, it feels calm and reassuring until the emotional weight sneaks up on you when you least expect it. The game never forces those moments, it kind of just gives them space to happen, and when they do, they can hit surprisingly hard. Coffee Talk takes place in a version of Seattle where humans, elves, orcs, and all kinds of other races exist side by side. But the issues people bring into the cafe are deeply human. You spend your nights listening to conversations about relationships, identity, burnout, and belonging, all while making drinks and letting the moment breathe. The gameplay is intentionally light, giving you space to sit with those stories instead of rushing through them. And the chill hop soundtrack is absolutely my speed. It's the kind of music that makes the whole experience feel like a late night convo you didn't realize you needed. It's gentle, thoughtful, and perfect for winding down with a good pair of headphones. Florence is a short, interactive story about a relationship told almost entirely through small gestures and simple interactions. You swipe, drag, and arrange moments in ways that mirror emotional shifts rather than traditional gameplay. It's focused and intimate, and it's designed for a single sitting, which makes it feel especially personal. This game kind of felt like an indie film, and I thought that it did a really good job of using shapes, colors, and movement to demonstrate emotion. I thought it was quite innovative. And I'm not gonna lie, I got a little emotional while I was playing it. Journey is a 2012 Game of the Year winner and a wordless exploration game where movement and atmosphere do all the storytelling. You'll occasionally encounter other players without ever speaking, and those fleeting connections often end up feeling surprisingly meaningful and cooperative. The story is what you make of it, revealing itself as a metaphor for life without ever spelling things out. When I first played it, the ending left me in tears, carried entirely by the music and visuals. By the time I rolled credits, it had dawned on me that, like life itself, it's not about the destination, but rather the okay, alright. But really, this game has an ending that you truly have to experience with headphones on to believe. Cocoon is a puzzle-driven adventure built around carrying worlds within worlds, gradually teaching you its mechanics as you go. Each new concept is introduced slowly, giving you time to understand it before layering something new on top. The puzzles are thoughtful without being overwhelming, and the game trusts you to figure things out on your own. It's challenging in a calm, measured way that never breaks the mood. Now, these are the games built around repetition in the best possible way. Unpacking is quietly incredible in how much it tells you without ever saying a word. As you unpack boxes and decide where things go, you slowly learn who this person is through their belongings, what they care about, what they keep, and what they eventually leave behind. Watching those items change and carry over through different stages of their life gives the game a subtle emotional arc that you don't expect at first. The act of organizing in this game is simple and tactile, and it scratches a very specific itch of putting things exactly where they feel right. Because just because a pair of boots fits on your desk doesn't mean that's where it goes. A little to the left turns everyday objects into small, clever puzzles built entirely around order and alignment. The game plays with symmetry, spacing, and perspective in ways that feel intuitive instead of demanding. There's often more than one right answer, which keeps it feeling playful instead of rigid. It's the kind of game you can dip into for a few minutes at a time, giving you a daily dose of like a brain teaser. Dwarf Romantic is a tile-laying game where you slowly piece together a landscape made of towns, rivers, and forests, one hexagon at a time. Each placement rewards small moments of foresight, like completing a village or extending a river, without ever feeling punishing if things don't line up perfectly. As the board grows, it becomes a reflection of your choices rather than a test of skill. It's calm, absorbing, and dangerously good at making time disappear. Storyteller is a puzzle game that asks you to arrange characters and scenes to create short narratives. You're given a handful of elements and a goal, then left to experiment until the story clicks into place. There's no pressure to get things right on the first try. Half the fun is seeing how different combinations play out. Its storybook art style and bite-sized puzzles make it perfect for relaxed pick-up-and-play sessions on the deck. This one's very clever and very charming, and should there ever be a book about my life, I want the narrator in this game to narrate my book.
A book about building stories.
Moonlighter balances light dungeon crawling with the calm routine of running a shop in town. You spend your days pricing items, watching customer reactions, and learning the rhythm of supply and demand, and then head out at night to restock your shelves. It's an easy game to settle into, especially on the deck, where you can jump in for a quick run or linger a little longer if the loop has you hooked. When this game came out, the idea of it was brilliant to me because I've spent my whole life playing RPGs where you go into towns and you go to the shops and you buy things. And so the thought of like, this is what the shopkeeper does to supply his shop is just a great idea. So that's the list, buds. Games that don't compete for your time, but respect it. They're the kind you play when you don't want noise or pressure. You just want something steady to sit with. You don't have to finish them quickly or play them perfectly. You just have to show up. And sometimes, that's enough.